Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bachelor Tea Party. I am Zuri Hall, and today we are joined, of course, by the lovely Ashley Iaconetti Haibon. Hello, hello.
Hey.
And a little later in the show, Kendall Long will be joining us also, so make sure you stick around for that. We are going to get to all of the things from Tayshia, finally appearing in the Super Teas, to Clare's connection with Dale, and that fight with Yosef, because how can we not talk about that? We're going to get to the bottom of everything starting now. So let's just go ahead and kick things off with the fact that, yes, Clare did in fact blow up the Bachelorette. Let's go ahead and acknowledge the fact that Tayshia shows up in the Super Teas. What was your initial reaction to the fact that, okay, this is happening and it's happening now?
I mean, it's obviously not surprising. I feel like some people might be surprised that the switch is going to happen so early on in the season. It looks like Clare's going to only have 4 episodes because Tayshia seemingly comes in the middle of next week's episode. Yeah. I thought that it was the most bizarre entrance clip they could ever give her, with her coming out of the water. She looked amazing, but like, is she a mermaid coming to land? Right. It was weird. I wish we had like a little scene where she, steps her foot out of the limo, and it's that like classic Bachelor Cinderella moment. You pan up and then there she is.
Right. How do you think she's gonna do as the new Bachelorette?
Oh, she's gonna do fantastic. I mean, Tayshia could have been cast as the Bachelorette in her own right. Like, she did not need to be a replacement by any means. I think she's been in the running to be the Bachelorette for the past few seasons now. She's a fantastic choice. She's gorgeous. She has her life together. She has an amazing, bright personality. She's smart. I mean, I love the girl, so I'm really happy. What we can only hope for is that this season is fate-like, and each of them, Clare and Tayshia, leave with fiancés, or at least in a relationship. And then you look back and you're like, this was meant to be. There was supposed to be 2 Bachelorettes this year.
It had to be this way.
Yes.
Do you think they're going to bring in more guys for Tayshia, or will she just be dating, all of the guys Clare left behind?
Well, we did see, when the cast was released, I think first in March and then again in June, there was 40 on the list. So I think it would be a waste to not at least add a couple of the guys that didn't make the night 1 on Clare's season. So yeah, let's bring in a couple extra guys, make it seem like she has a full set to choose from. Yeah. And it'll be interesting for us to see some guys that are just put into a season that's already begun, guys that have already felt like they've been competing for a few weeks.
Right. Okay. We'll see how it plays out. When it comes to the choice to leave the show, do you feel like it was Clare's decision? Was it more production? I read where they were talking about there was an exact moment when production kind of realized, okay, we need to replace Clare. I think when she gave the rose to herself instead of giving it to one of the guys.
There were some fun signs in this episode. There was that rose. There was the fact that she canceled the day portion of the date. My assumption is that it was just a little too hot outside, and they're like, whatever activity we had planned, we cannot do. So it kind of makes Clare look like she was just so focused on Dale that she wanted nothing to do with the other guys for the day. But I'm guaranteeing you guys, there was an activity and it was 120 degrees out and they just couldn't do it, because if you've been to Palm Springs in August, holy moly.
Oh my gosh. I just came back
outside. It's not safe.
In October and it was 90 degrees every day.
I know. So I think that there, of course, are some signs that Clare, is not wanting to be in this situation and having to entertain the idea of guys that she doesn't really like enough. But I also feel like production knows that they can't have a whole season where all their lead is doing is talking about one person. So I'm going to say it was kind of a mutual thing. And based on what we're seeing from Clare right now, why would she want to continue if she could just leave with Dale? All she wants to do is spend her time with Dale anyway. And I don't blame her. I understand having that tunnel vision.
Once you find that person, it's I found them. There's pretending is so much harder. The other guys brought up the not fact, but the rumor that Clare and Dale had connected maybe on social media before all of this. Do you think there might be any truth to that? I mean, I personally feel like something had to happen. Something had to happen before this, right?
No, interestingly enough, as this season goes on, the less I believe that.
Really?
Yeah, it
Why?
seems like they're
That's
genuinely
exciting.
getting to know each other now. The first episode, I was like, no. I
Yeah.
was like, as much as I want to believe that they didn't talk, they totally
There's no
talked.
way.
And now I'm watching this now and I'm feeling like this is truly developing in front of our eyes. And I also think that there's a difference between them talking before the show and them and then her just seeing his picture and wanting him to be there and being so attracted to him. So I think she had an image of what her relationship could have been in like a dream world, as if like Dale was kind of a celebrity crush and she finally got to meet that guy that she dreamed about.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's beyond that now, but maybe I'm just naive.
She called him her fiance to a producer.
I really don't think I can sit there and go, you've dished on my fiance so hard, like I can't be doing that, you know, like it doesn't feel right.
Are they engaged? What's happening? What is happening? I can't think of it.
I'll just say that if you watch that clip over again, we don't see her mouth say fiance.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I say, okay, I get what you're putting down.
You
We can read between the lines. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and get to our throwing shade portion.
You're completely classless, Claire.
Are you serious?
Bro, yo, calm down over there, man.
You gotta chill out, dude. Bro, I expected way more from the oldest Bachelorette.
So let's talk about Yosef and everything that went down with him. He was pretty fired up about Clare, about the entire situation. How do you feel about his delivery, the way that he confronted Clare? Because it was intense.
Atrocious. It was like he was leaning into the narrative of being the villain. Normally the villains still like want to stick around. They still want the lead to like them. This guy made it seem like he wanted her to hate him, because even once he put his point across, he kept drilling it in, and every time he said it again, it sounded worse, and he said things in a more disgusting manner.
He
So
was crazy, classless. She wasn't fit to be the mother of his child. I mean, that was terrible.
no, he was so gross, and it's just so funny that he's the one preaching like, I have a daughter, I want to be a good example for my daughter, so I don't want to strip on TV, and yet he's being the worst example for her. And I mean, if you guys watched, or if you followed along on internet stuff this week, the girl that on night one, Tyler C, alleged him dating and mistreating has come out on TikTok this week and has talked about how he said very dirty videos to another woman, talking about wanting to do dirty things to another woman while he was visiting her home.
Ew.
So like he's just off camera and on camera not seeming to be the best demonstration of class. So it's all very ironic that that he's the one
really
that's so preachy about it.
Hey,
Here,
how are you?
Hey, Kendall.
Hey, how are you?
What did you think, Kendall, about how Yosef kind of approached, seems too gentle of a word, attacked maybe too intense, but like kind of went in on Clare in that showdown?
I think he got power hungry. Like I feel like he saw her being receptive and being vulnerable and kind of like listening to him, and he got really excited about it, and he just like went for it. Like he went right for the throat. And for me, I think it's more of a battle of pride than it was anything to do with Clare.
Interesting. How do you think Clare handled the situation in return? That's where we were talking just before you popped in. That's a lot to sort of be on the receiving end of. I thought she handled it as well as you could in that sort of situation.
She did really good. I think she definitely did really good in the beginning. She was way more patient than I would have been, like watching a guy just kind of like incessantly like attack her. But yeah, I mean, she doesn't have to put up with it, because obviously at the end of this, she's trying to find her husband. So I think by not wasting time and having him leave, that's the best thing she could have done. So.
She had some great lines in there when she was like, no, this is over, or something like that, or you are done. And then she was like, I have listened to you for the past 20 minutes. You listen to me. I love that.
He brought up that dodgeball game again, the group date, and Claire kind of hinted, it felt like, that the idea may have come from production and not her anyway. Do we think that he wasn't being fair to her, the way that he's really pinning that entire situation on Claire and this double standard, or do you still feel like he has a point?
I think if he was uncomfortable with it, he should have brought it up then, as opposed to waiting, like what he said, 3 days later and bringing it up to her and making it like a really big deal and focusing on it being her fault. And in the end of the day, I feel like it was more so something about an insecurity that he had as opposed to anything that she had done.
Okay, guys, let's play a round of roses or thorns. This is the part where we're gonna name some moments from the episode, and if you liked it, obviously give it a rose. If you didn't, it gets a thorn. So first up, we have Claire sending Zach home after their almost kiss.
What? Oh.
No, why did you stop? What are you doing? I was right there. Wait, hold on. Why'd you stop?
Let's get ready for dinner.
No, what happened?
Nothing. Hold on. Let's get ready for dinner.
1, 2, 3.
Thorn.
Oh, I say rose.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
so
mean, yeah.
why thorn, Kendall?
I think that the way it ended, I didn't really like. I almost feel like I wish she would have gone up to him and talked to him and said, because obviously it seemed like it was a miscommunication. So he was left just really confused, left high and dry. He like got ready for dinner, and the last thing she said was, "I'll see you at dinner," and she wasn't there. So I feel like, because I feel like he seemed just genuinely shocked, I would have liked to have her maybe end it in a certain way, at least say, you know, I wasn't feeling it, and that kind of just made me realize I wasn't feeling it. So maybe I would have liked a little bit more of a goodbye. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. I think that probably she was the one that should have showed up instead of Chris Harrison. It was like Chris was doing the dirty work a little bit. But I also sort of respected the fact that she didn't want to see him again after he made her feel so uncomfortable. And look, like, we watched that and it seemed like, oh, that was an awkward kiss, but like it affected her deeply. And whether or not that was her feeling rejected or her actually having like a trigger moment back to her past abusive relationship, like we're not in her body. We don't know what went through her at that point. So I think we just kind of have to respect Claire's decision on letting him go the way that she did.
Mm-hmm.
But like, as far as the kiss goes, if we do want to analyze that for just a split second, she did, like in the Hitched rule, she went 80 and he did not go 20, and that is awkward. But I don't think that was it. Like, she just wasn't feeling him all day, and then the way that he was kind of like holding her back and like wanting to go in for a kiss after the moment had passed, she was just like, no, we're gonna get through with this. Bye.
It was a little aggressive, I think, afterwards. But also, I feel like when she went to kiss Dale for the first time, he also went back. You know?
Yeah.
So it could be kind of taken as her mentality for Dale was so different that when he did that, she saw it as him being shy. But then
that was endearing, and this was offensive.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay, next up, roses or thorns. The roast group date. 1, 2, 3.
Rose.
Okay, rose.
Yeah.
Kendall.
I feel like it was good for the guys to vent and to get a lot of how they felt out there. I feel like, I mean, you can tell she obviously was very protective of Dale, and when it was the cocktail hour, I feel like it was a little bit focused too much on the roast of Dale as opposed to like all the other things that happened during that date. But I think it was rose because they were able to kind of vent on how they actually felt, which was, you know, it's always good to get communication out there.
Yeah, I like roast dates. I think they're fun. I think anything that kind of like has a sense of humor and can also, as Kendall said, like be a vent sesh and like give the lead some insight as to what might be going on in the house is a good date. Her being sensitive about the Dale thing, especially at the cocktail party afterward, that goes a little far for me, because you can see that she literally didn't want to talk about anything other than Dale. It's like, oh, if Dale isn't here on this date, let's still make him the focal point of it. And Bennett, who continues to be like an underrated character for me and having a couple shining moments, he was like, you know, just like, with all due respect, I don't really want to talk about Dale with my precious time with you. Right. And from what we saw on TV, it looks like she switches the conversation to continue to harp on Dale. And that's a little unfortunate. That makes me feel bad.
To your point about Bennett, he really went off, and a lot of people online are Bennett fans. Yeah. So if it doesn't work out with Bennett on the show, are we giving a rose or a thorn for Bennett in Paradise?
Oh. We want
for sure a rose. Oh yeah, because he speaks his mind, and I think he values his time, and he's intelligent, so he knows that the time isn't focused on him. So I feel like I'm excited for Bennett's time. You know, if it's not with Clare, then someone.
All right, guys, this wraps up our episode of Bachelor Tea Party. Make sure you go to our Facebook fan page, give it a like. You can keep up with everything there. And just a reminder, our next episode will air on Friday next week because The Bachelorette will be airing on Thursday since Tuesday is election day. We'll see you guys next week. Kendall, Ashley, thank you both so much. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.